let's take another look at Rillaboom. It's Boombox time. Welcome back, everyone, to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today we're going to take a look at Rillaboom. It's a deck that I have had a lot of fun with in the past, and we're going to take another look at today. This one has been taken from Isaiah Bradner, posted up on his Twitter a few days ago, maybe a week now. It's been quite a while, actually, but it's a little bit of a more defensive style Rillaboom deck. There's not tech Pokemon to attack with as such, but there are a lot of options to get wins on the ladder. When we think about decks that we're going to be seeing like ADP and Eternatus, this deck can actually deal with them relatively easily. I'm not going to say that you're going to win every game, but it is still pretty solid. So we'll take a look at the list in just a second. Before we do, like the video, subscribe. Let's get this video to 100 likes. We haven't had a 100 like video in a day for a while, and why not for Rillaboom? He seems like a pretty cool guy. He is a really cool guy, Mitch, and here he is. It's Rillaboom. Voltage Beat is that's the heart of this deck, really. We're going to use this ability as frequently as possible to accelerate grass energy to our Pokemon. Voltage Beat means we can search our deck for 2 grass energy and attach them both to one of our Pokemon. A Hammer In as well for 4 energy is a reasonably strong attack for a non-GX Pokemon, but we're probably going to avoid using that attack where possible. Instead, we're going to use Voltage Beat to power up our Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor Tag Team GX. Now, this card's really good because it does a couple of things for us. Firstly, Super Growth is a free attack, costs no energy, and if we're going second, we can evolve our Rowlet from a Rowlet into a Rillaboom on the first turn of the game. It's incredibly powerful and can get ourselves set up really, really easily. We also have Calming Hurricane, which deals 150 damage for 3 energy. Again, easy to set up if you have the Rillaboom in play, and then it heals 30 damage from this Pokemon. And also the GX attack Tropical Hour deals 200 damage, which is a lot, and also if there are 3 extra energy attached to this Pokemon, then we can remove all of the energy from our opponent's side of the field. We take them off, shuffle them into our opponent's deck. So this is a super effective strategy when you're playing up against things like ADP Zacian. They're accelerating a ton of energy with Ultimate Ray. I might have 6 or 7 energy on the field. We can just Tropical Hour, get rid of all of that energy, and then they need to start attaching them all again. So a really, really good strategy, a very, very good card. We need to find a way to support them, but we've also got another attacker, and obviously it's a Rillaboom deck. Let's take a look at Rillaboom VMAX. There's a 1/1 line of this card here. It's not the primary attacker, so if we get a chance to attack with it, that would be great, but it's not too much of a focus here. Max Beating is the attack that we're going to take a look at. There is 4 energy required for it. Deals 130 damage. Doesn't seem that much, but you can discard up to 3 grass energy to deal an extra 50 damage for every grass energy you discard that way. So Max Beating can deal 130 plus 150. That is 280 damage. It's a pretty solid hit. It's not going to one-shot any of the VMAXs in the format at the moment, but it is very respectable. That'll take a knockout on an ADP as well if they're not careful. So we've got a couple of options there for dealing with those kind of decks, but you know, it's pretty consistent. The one thing that we do have going for us, we've got Energy Denial and Healing. Let's try and use those a little bit more. I've included a copy of Mallow and Lana in the deck, which we can search out with our tag calls, which we obviously can use in the early game to grab our Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor. But there are also 2 copies of Team Yell Grunt in this deck. So that means that after we have removed all of the energy from our opponent's side of the field, we can theoretically start removing individual energy from there. And then it doesn't really matter that we're not doing 100% half hits every turn, because we're going to be able to stop our opponent from attacking for 1 or 2, maybe even 3 turns in a row to give ourselves a really strong platform to go on to win the game. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. The rest of the deck, though, is pretty much just built around trying to get our Pokemon out, our energy out as quickly as possible. We've got Crobat and Dedenne as hand extension cards. We've got Quick Ball for Pokemon Search. We have Pokecom for Pokemon Search. That'll find our evolution pieces, as will Turffield Stadium, which obviously search for an evolved grass Pokemon. We mentioned Tag Call already, finds our Egg Rouse, which is obviously very good. And we've got 4 copies of Switch, just in case we can't get into that Egg Rouse on turn 1. There's also 2 Air Balloon as well, because it is important that we get that Exeggutor into the active as quickly as possible, so that we can use that Super Growth attack to evolve our Pokemon. When it comes to supporters, apart from the ones I've already mentioned, it's a pretty generic supporter line. We've got Research as a 4 of, we've got Marnie as a 4 of, and we have Boss as a 4 of as well. 2 of, sorry, not 4 of, that would be way too many cards. So we're just doing the generic, normal supporter line here. There's 12 Grass Energy, which is a lot, but when you think about it, we're sucking those energies out almost every turn, so there's not going to be a huge amount of them left in the deck. We also have 3 copies of Weakness Guard as well, because we know there are a lot of fire decks running around at the moment. Oh man, that cough came right at the end of this take, which sucks, so I'm going to have to just keep going with it. There's a lot of fire decks at the moment. Cinderace, obviously, we featured yesterday. Center Scorch is flying around. There's Welder Mewtwo, which has access to Reshizard. There's Reshizard Breaks in as well, so there's a ton of fire-type Pokemon out there. Weakness Guard Energy will stop that weakness coming through. They still might be able to one-shot our Pokemon, but since we've got colorless energy costings in pretty much all of our attacks, and since we can get all of our energy into play really quickly, it's not going to be a problem having Weakness Guard Energy attached. So we will see whether we can get our Rillabooms into play. I feel like if we get 2 into play every game, we're going to be able to run rampant with energy. We just need to make sure that we can get our GX attacks off at the right time. We can take the right knockouts when we're given the opportunity. Let's jump onto the ladder and see how we go. Alrighty, here we go. Let's play a game. Rillaboom is the key. We need to get that into play as quickly as possible. And this, oh my goodness, this hand is absolutely bonkers. We are going second. We have ourselves a perfect start here. There's almost nothing that we would prefer to have. That Swablu in the active is a little concerning, because it does mean that we are probably going up against a Altaria kind of GX VMAX sort of ability lock deck. I will attach to the active, I think, just in case they can't find the Altaria. We want to be able to Calming Hurricane next turn, but we don't need to do anything else. We're going to Super Growth now, get our Rillaboom into play. We're not too worried, because we are going to be able to do pretty much anything that we want next turn. We've got Switch, we've got Research, we can do pretty much anything. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, and we also don't need to rush. It looks like we're playing against a pretty slow deck, so we can just Research next turn, find ourselves another Grookey, and potentially just evolve that into a second Rillaboom. So we are in a pretty good position. We are unfortunately going to see that Altaria in the active, but that's not the end of the world for me. We are going to be able to get that knockout pretty easily with a Rillaboom. The interesting thing here that I'm seeing is that they're using Metal Energy to power up their Altaria. They've got an ADP deck box. Could they potentially be doing something tricky with that? Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. There's another Altaria and a big Parasol. So they're trying to lock down the potential for Tropical Hour to remove energy. I'm not sure if that's how it works, but that's okay. We'll Voltage Bait. We'll get some energy out of the deck, attach them to the Rillaboom. We are going to need this as an attacker by the looks of it. I'll attach to the bench as well. We can attach the Air Balloon to the active almost. That's just pass, really. We don't need to do anything. We can attach the Air Balloon to the active next turn and then Research to get into our attacker. We just don't want to remove a bunch of resources that we don't need to remove, because it looks like our opponent is going pretty slowly. So Air Balloon now, we've got a Quick Ball now as well. We can get rid of one of these Researchers. I will play down Grookey, because I feel like if we are going to be playing against Altaria the entire time, we need to get a second Rillaboom set up. We Research, we've found an extra energy, which is great. We can retreat. It's not a free retreat, unfortunately, but it is definitely acceptable. We will Voltage Beat as well. I'll chuck 2 energies onto the Grookey on the bench. We have Thwackey in hand, which is pretty good, and then we can hammer in. Take the knockout on the Altaria. Yes, yet to see a reason for that Metal Energy being in there. I'm not entirely sure. That Turffield Stadium's a really good pickup as well off of the prizes. There is an ADP. Okay. Maybe we will need to get our Egg Rouse powered up. Top decking Rillaboom means that the Turffield is now completely useless. What do we do here? I think I Voltage Beat. I want to accelerate some energy. There's 3. We must have some prize. I reckon we want to go for Tropical Hour at some point. because even if we don't get the extra effect off, it's going to be enough to help us get the extra damage, which is the key. We'll take the knockout, take another prize, and hopefully we have access to enough energy in the deck that we can get that big attack off. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. If I'd have known, I would have put the 2 energy that's on that Thwackey on the bench onto the Eggrow already. They're going to use greens. Fair enough. They've probably had that in their hand for a while, but not being able to use it because of Altaria. This is an interesting deck. I'm not sure what its end game is, to be honest, because I mean, maybe they're just drawing really poorly, but they're obviously trying to use Altered Creation to get extra prizes and extra damage, and then sit behind Altarias and take knockouts to win the game. That makes sense. But it doesn't... It's not doing anything here. It's a bit of a dud. They've got the energy, though, so they can use Altered Creation. I feel like we like Marnie to get their Marnie out of their hand next turn and just hit into this with Hammer In. I'm not too worried about like what's going to happen the turn after. Altered Creation here. Okay, so what we do is we just Hammer In and then Marnie. Oh, okay. That seems pretty good. Team Yell Grunt seems pretty good. We'll use the Stadium here to potentially grab a card. We do have 3 energy left, so we can get that GX attack off for the full effect. We'll evolve into the Rillaboom. I'll attach the weakness guard. I'll attach the air balloon to the active, I think, and then we're going to get rid of this water energy here, because now they can't use Ultimate Ray, so you can see the value of that Yell Grunt coming through. 140 damage will half hit this ADP. They can't do anything this turn apart from just attach. They might be able to put like a big charm or something on, which would be annoying, but even then we can just retreat and use our GX attack just to take the knockout. That's fine by me. We are looking like we are in a really strong spot. It's just a matter of, do they have access to more Pokemon? It looks like yes they do. So we'll see the Swablu coming now. We got rid of the Fione there. They're just going to attach to the Swablu, so they're just kind of accepting that this ADP is not long for this world. They're going to Marnie. We'll take a look at a fresh 4 cards. It's a shame to lose the ones that we had there. Oh, they do have Big Charm. Okay, so we now need to make a choice. Do we half hit or do we just retreat into... Oh my goodness, we just got a boss's orders off the top deck. That could be the play. We will Pokecom. I'm thinking we grab Crobat here. As we can do a little bit of thinning. We can get rid of all these cards out of our hand, and then we can just Pokecom for another Crobat. Right, we can just grab the Crobat again. This way, we give ourselves an option. If we get the GX to knock out the active, we can. If we don't, we don't. That Team Yell Grunt is pretty good. I'll grab the Rillaboom VMAX out of the deck. We don't really need that in there anymore. I think the best play is still to boss the Swablu. Like, honestly. Or we remove the energy so that they can't attack. I think gusting the Swablu seems so good. Yeah, let's just do that. Because if we do this, they've got no momentum. They can't attack again next turn. We can just Hammer in here. We probably just attach to the whatever. It doesn't matter because we've got the knockout for 3 prizes next turn. I think we're pretty much in the clear. There's not much that we can... Yeah, there was not much our opponent could really do to end that one. And we take it back out. We've got the coin flip here. We've won. I'm going to elect to go second. The best thing about going second for this deck, as well as obviously getting access to our Eggrow early, is that it actually hampers the decks that we're worst against. Most fire decks really appreciate getting energy in play early. And it slows them down as well. And we're looking at a Mad Party list here. So this is going to be a little bit awkward. We're going to need to take 6 knockouts. Which I don't like, frankly. I'm not a big fan of that. It means that our Tropical Hour attack is not going to be particularly useful. Although we will be able to get a lot of value out of our healing cards. So I think that might be the direction that we go in. Obviously, our first attack is going to be Super Growth regardless. But we do need to be careful. We might be able to sneak prizes off of the Dedenne. Sometimes these decks play things like Oricorio. Crobat could be potentially played down. So there are opportunities, but it might be a little bit awkward. We'll wait and see. I feel like if we do have to take 6 knockouts, we are going to be in trouble though. So we want to get rid of that as a potential issue straight away. We've actually found our Rillaboom V here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Thwackey back into the deck. We'll grab ourselves a Grookey, because we 100% require that. We'll put that one down. We'll play the Rillaboom. We will attach the energy to the active. And then I think I just Super Growth. We don't need to do anything just yet. They've not got a great setup going on. We can Marnie next turn. We can do whatever we need to do. So we're in a pretty good spot. We've got Quick Ball for Dedenne if required. And the good thing about Rillaboom V being on the field early is that we can potentially get a VMAX down, which would mean that we've got access to a really high HP Pokemon. So we can potentially tank a hit, because Mad Party tends to cap out at around 270, 280, that kind of range, depending on how many Pokemon they have in the discard pile already. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. They're going to Mad Party us here, but they haven't got too many Mad Partiers in the bin just yet. Here comes the attack, and it's only 60 damage, so that's effectively nothing for us. I'm happy with that. What we can do is we can Voltage Beat. I'll attach 2. Wow, we are prizing a lot of energy here to have only 5 in the deck. That is pretty crazy. Luckily, this game we don't actually need too many of them, because that would have been very, very awkward. And we have access to another Grookey if we want one. We can Pokecom this Thwackey away and go looking for that. I don't have a problem with that at all, because we do need to find energy and accelerate it. I also like the idea of attacking with our Rillaboom at some point. We'll Quick Ball here, grab ourselves Crobat, and then draw a fresh 6 cards. We don't need to worry about having these Pokemon on the field at the moment. And look at that, we've actually drawn into everything that we need to evolve into another Rillaboom. We have another energy to attach. We're healing. We're doing everything that we need to do. I would have liked to have seen Mallow and Lana, but we did have to discard that tag call to get into our fresh hand. So not too worried here. We have Boss's Orders as well, which we could potentially use to knock out an Oricorio if it gets into play. We don't, like, it does 2 things. That it means that they can't accelerate energy and accelerate cards. There is the Oricorio. It also means, though, unfortunately, we will be leaving the Twin Energy in play for our opponent. I mean, we won't be accelerating more damage, because we won't knock out the Bunnelby, but they will be able to hit into us for a little bit more. I feel like we gust the Oricorio and then just sacrifice the Eggrow. I think that's pretty much our best play, unfortunately, because they will start ramping the amount of Pokemon they have very, very quickly. They're going to get all of those Pokemon in the discard pile, and it means that we're going to be really struggling to tank the hits required. Mallow and Lana will no longer help us if they do get enough Pokemon in the discard pile, and it looks like there is going to be a pretty substantial chunk of them. Now, we just have to hope that they're not doing 240. It's not unlikely, but there is potential for that to happen. If they do 240, then we are in strife. If they do less, then I'm happy. We can gust the Oricorio, take that knockout. We sacrifice the Eggrow, and we've got access to the Rillaboom V next turn. But if they do get to that big 240 number, we are in a bit of trouble. They don't look like they're going to be playing down any more support Pokemon this turn. They are just going to go for the Mad Party. No knockout just yet, 160 damage. So we are not in a good position with this Eggrow, but not in a bad one. If we had have had any less, then Mallow and Lana became an option. If we had have had any more, then we were pretty much in the same position we were in now. In fact, this is probably the worst. This is probably the worst place we could be in, to be honest. But that's okay. We can accelerate to the Rillaboom V. We'll attach. We'll play down our Turffield. Get rid of that Chaotic Swell. Then we boss the Oricorio, and we're just going to have to go for Tropical Hour here. Get the knockout. We got 2 prizes. They're likely to be energy, frankly. Team Yell Grunt. Okay, that's completely useless. And an energy. We've got 2 Rillabooms. We need an attacker, though. And at the moment, we are committed to Rillaboom VMAX. We can't really afford to attack with Rillaboom V, because if they take a knockout, which they can, because they're doing plenty of damage, we are going to be in a little bit of trouble. I would really prefer it if we could get the VMAX into play. That would mean that we wouldn't need to worry about getting knocked out, although it would open up an avenue for boss, which I'm not a big fan of, frankly. The good thing, though, here is that we can Marnie before we use our Rillaboom's ability, which can put these 2 grass energies back into the deck, which is pretty good. I don't think we're going to get to use the ability twice, though. It depends, of course, how many energy we have left. There's going to be at least 2, so we don't need to worry too much about that. The Yell Grunt's useless. We're going to have to just put that on the bottom of the deck. They are really ripping through their deck here, trying to get as many of those Mad Partiers in the discard pile as quickly as possible. Here comes T-Break. Draw a few more cards. I don't think that they've played this too badly. They're doing a pretty good job. I mean, they've got a lot of cards that they've got access to. They don't have a lot left in their deck, but I think that I need to Marnie next turn anyway to accelerate this energy, because I need to get one of my basic Rillabooms ready to go as quickly as possible. It's a little bit awkward, to say the very least. Here's the Mad Party. They are dealing 180 damage, so not quite knocking out the Rillaboom V yet. But I know if I knock them out with it and they discard one more Mad Partier, then we definitely do get knocked out. So we need to find the VMAX. There's only one of them in the deck. We have 27 cards to look at. I have to Marnie here, I think, because I need these energies in the deck so that I can accelerate them with Rillaboom. Do we have access to it? No. We do have Quick Ball for Dedenne, though. So what we'll do is we will probably... Can't really afford to just leave that there, can I? Oh, well, Woodhammer. I can't attack. Okay, so if I attack with Woodhammer, then I get knocked out. So I need to find the VMAX. We will accelerate 2 grass to our Rillaboom here. We only have 1 grass energy left, but I will remove that from the deck now so that we give ourselves the best odds of drawing into that Rillaboom. We will grab the Dedenne. We'll play down the Air Balloon. I will retreat into the Crobat V, because you never know, we might be able to find like an energy to attach to the Rillaboom that we can get there. Is a Rillaboom VMAX. Perfect stuff. Okay, so no energy for our baby Rillaboom here, but we get the big boy, and we can max beating here for no discard, because we're doing 100... In fact, we could have just used Scratch, to be honest. That would have been more than enough. 330 is a very tough number for them to get to. So they will be able to half hit, but can they one-shot us? Unlikely. Here comes Evo Incense. They're probably going to grab themselves one of those Mr. Rhymes, so they can discard them with the T-Break ability of Poltergeist. Looks like they're actually going to go for Roxy. Discard 2 Mr. Rhymes here, draw 6. Tool Scrapper is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not too worried about that. Any card that they don't play is a good thing for me. There's the energy, so they're going to be able to hit into me. I think now we have to worry about the amount of boss that they play. We may just lose, right? Because they are going to half hit the Rillaboom. We have to get rid of the Mallow Lana. Not that that would really matter at this point, because they're already dealing over 200 damage. Here comes the Mad Party. 240 is the amount that they're doing, so the Mallow Lana wouldn't really help. I'm going to attach to this Rillaboom, and then I think they've got 2 bosses in the bin, so let's switch into that Rillaboom, then research. There's a part of me that thinks maybe I should have Marnied, to be honest, because I don't need anything here. Like, what am I going to grab? Like, nothing. And yeah, we'll just do some thinning, get rid of some cards that we don't need. There's a couple of energy left. We need this switch probably. We'll keep the Air Balloon on the active, I think, just in case something goes horribly wrong. Let's hammer in, take the knockout. Hopefully they don't have boss. If they have boss energy, the game is over. If they don't, then we pretty much have just locked this one up, because Rillaboom VMAX can take a knockout on anything on our opponent's side of the field. They have the energy. No boss, though, going straight for the Mad Party. I can respect that. 260 damage, more than enough for a baby Rillaboom, but we have the VMAX on the bench. Good games to that player. Okay, so we're into another game. You won't have seen it, but my computer actually crashed in the middle of a really good game there, so unfortunately we have lost that one forever, but we have won the coin flip here. I hope that doesn't become a common theme, because I don't know what I'm going to do if my computer just carks it. That'll be a problem, but that's a problem for future Mitch. Current Mitch is looking pretty solid. He's got a Pokecom for a little Grookey. Super Growth can turn that into a Rillaboom very quickly. I don't know what we're playing up against yet. There's a Jirachi. We've got Dragon-typed sleeves. I don't know. This could really be anything. Jirachi suggests that it might be like, I don't know, like a fire-based deck. I know that Center Scorch. Oh, Dragapult. Okay. No worries. So this is going to be a game where Tropical Owl will actually be very, very strong, because that will mean that we can decrease the chances of being knocked out by a Dragapult, right? We're going to remove the energy. They have to manually attach them every turn. We're going to be in a really good spot to be able to do that. So let's Marnie. We'll reduce their hand size down. I know that they've got Boss. I don't want them to knock out the Grookey here. And we can just super growth, get ourselves Thwackey and Rillaboom, evolve on top. Our hand is fantastic. We have access to Team Yell Grunt as well, so if they do miss an attachment, then we effectively put ourselves a turn in front. If they don't, then we can set ourselves up to do other stuff, like we can research, we've got Quick Ball, we've got a lot of stuff that we can do here, so I'm feeling pretty good. The best thing is that Mallow Lana is going to be so clutch in this game. We're going to be able to get a real solid value out of it. We're going to be able to heal 120 damage when Dragapult really only does 130 each turn to the active. So that's fantastic. Plus we'll be calming Hurricaning. So we'll be half hitting. We'll be healing a little bit of damage every turn. I think we've actually got ourselves a really good matchup here. So we'll wait and see. What is it that our opponent chooses to do? They're going to scoop up the Jirachi here. They didn't have anything really there. Going into the Dragapult, playing the Jirachi back down and switching. So that's fine. I don't have any problems with that. There's an Oranguru. They're probably looking for a supporter here. I'm going to put something back on top of the deck with the Oranguru. See if they can't nab a supporter quickly. There's an Energy. Pretty solid. And a Marnie. Okay, so we're getting Marnied. Our really good hand is going away, but that's okay. We've got everything that we need already in place, so that's fine. And this hand looks pretty good as well, to be honest. We've got an Energy, we've got a Research. It's going to be a shame to get rid of the Dedenne, but I don't think we need it. I think it's best to just let it rip here and see what happens. That Yell Grunt, frustrating. Very frustrating. But it's okay. Not too worried. They can't play it this turn. We're going to be fine. So, they're going to use Jet Assault. They'll do 140 because I just moved into the active. It's a bit annoying because it's obviously half hitting us. But we do have the energy attachment. We have the Rillaboom to Voltage Beat. We're going to attach 2 energies to the active. Calming Hurricane will put us out of range of a one-shot, well, not a one-shot, of a knockout from the second, the VMAX from Dragapult. And this is actually really good for us here. We can Calming Hurricane, heal off a little bit of damage here. They might choose to hit into us. If they do, whatever. Next turn we have Tropical Hour, and then we have both of our Yell Grunts in hand. So if we keep this hand, we can really push ourselves to be in front of this Dragapult deck for the entire game. We'll remove all the energy on the field next turn, and then we've got 2 turns worth of energy denial after that. So we are in a really, really good spot. Obviously they could just Marnie or Stamp us. That's very, very possible. But I am liking our odds of doing something good here. It's just a matter of how our opponent chooses to go about this turn. They want the VMAX, but if they get the VMAX, then we just take 3 prizes instead of 2. So I'm looking forward to it. They will put us on 240 HP. So it is possible that they do get a... oh, what is this? I've got a free make update. That will go away in time, I'm sure. What is free make? Why do I have that installed on my computer? That's alright. Here's Exeggutor. So that will deal some extra damage to us. Kind of frustrating, but that's okay. I'm going to have to go and have a look for that. That's alright. Just leave it there, whatever. It'll disappear. There it goes. It's gone. Research. What was that? They just discard like a Lampent? They play Chandelure in this deck? Are they playing like a Chandelure tech to avoid getting one-shot by Eternituses? That's bold. That is bold stuff. Especially since by the time you get it in play... Oh, they would have had it on top of the deck with the Oranguru. I see what's going on here. Now, we can Voltage Beat. Our opponent has retreated and chosen to do nothing, so we put ourselves in an incredibly powerful position here. I'm just going to Gust. I don't think we need to Tropical Hour. We can just Calming Hurricane. That's pretty much all we have to do. the energy on the Oranguru is wasted. The game is pretty much over, because as soon as they accelerate energy, we can just remove them all. So that's pretty good for me. I'm happy with this. Yeah. I think this game is already won, guys. I don't think that we're in too much stress here at all. We do obviously need to worry about the VMAX having 320 HP. We don't really want to use our GX attack here, so we will need to use Yell Grunt. There is that Chandelure. There's the top entry Lampent and the Protective Glow Chandelure. Very interesting. And they're grabbing Marnie. Okay, so they're going to get rid of both of our Yell Grunts here. That's kind of upsetting, but we don't really mind too much. I just don't want to use our GX attack into this Jirachi. That would suck. They have put the energy down, and they are using Oranguru. There's the Fione. Are we going to see a Fione into our Rillaboom, perhaps? I mean, as long as we top deck an energy, we can manually retreat it, but that's very expensive. Probably should have attached to the bench last turn, to be honest, if I had the option to. That's okay. Oh my goodness, this is a beautiful hand to have picked up. We've got an energy, so we're guaranteed to be able to manually retreat. We've got Crobat to draw cards, and we have Boss. So what we can do is we can boss out the Dragapult V, and then we can use our GX attack and not have the wasted damage. Right, because the thing that I'm worried about is, if I use the GX attack to attack the Jirachi, that's fine, but we do then need to take a lot of turns to get attacking on the VMAX of the Dragapult if they ever get it down. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. We are going to Crobat, I think. Oh, I should have Voltage Beat first. That's okay. Play down a Grookey, we might need a second one of those, then we'll quick ball away the second Eggrow, he's not required. Grab the Rillaboom V, it's not particularly useful here, we've got a bunch of stuff set and ready, so we're fine. It's a bit awkward though, we're not going to have a lot of energy left, so let's get ourselves a couple onto the active here so that we can retreat. I think our play is to retreat into the GX, Boss's orders out the Dragapult, and then use Tropical Hour GX. We'll get rid of all of the energy, and that means we won't take damage from the Horror Psychic as well, which is really, really good for us. We are in a great position now. They have no energy, they have no attackers ready to go, and we can just use Calming Hurricane for the rest of the game and not really worry about what they're doing. There's the victory. We managed to get 3 in a row. Well, apart from the other one. Yeah, it's 3 in a row except for the crash of the computer, which was unfortunate. But hey, this deck's actually really, really good. I'm disappointed we didn't get a chance to play it against ADP or Eternatus, because I would have liked to have seen how it coped. But to be honest, I can see a game plan for both decks, so it's not ridiculous to say that this could potentially steal some wins on the ladder for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We are getting perilously close to 5,000 subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. 5k subs is a massive milestone, and we are very, very close. I just want to take a second to thank everyone that watches these videos all the way through. You're the real MVPs. You're the ones that I do this for. Leave a like I said before. If we can get to 100 likes, that would be great. I don't know what we'll do after that. I mean, there's a couple of other lists that we've got floating around. I know there's another couple of kind of Mewtwo-y based decks that I'm thinking about. Tomorrow, it's likely to be the OP League. I haven't had a chance to play yet. I'm playing Joe, so we'll see how we go. Maybe I'll play this and Cinderace. That would be an interesting combination of decks to throw up against him. But hey, that's alright. We'll wait and see how it goes. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. I appreciate your company, and I'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.